Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into a powerful parable from the philosopher Zarathustra. It's a story that tackles a huge question. In that age-old battle between our spirit and our flesh, who's really in charge? Get ready, because this might just turn everything you think you know about your own body completely upside down.
So, our story kicks off in a pretty bleak place, a world where the spirit looks at the body and feels, well, shame. And this isn't just some ancient idea. It's a feeling a lot of us can probably relate to today, that nagging sense that our bodies are just flawed containers for our real selves.
All right, here's the journey we're about to take, broken down into 6 parts. We're going to start with the people who see the body as a prison, and we'll end with a totally new, life-affirming vision of what it means to be alive. First up, let's meet the Despisers. For these folks, the body isn't a home. No, it's a cage. It's just a machine made of bone and muscle that's trapped what they believe is their true, pure self. This is basically their core belief system. They look at their own flesh with total contempt. They're convinced their real I is some kind of pure spirit that's being dirtied by its physical prison. Every single bodily feeling, whether it's hunger or pain, is a betrayal. They even see their own exhaustion as a kind of twisted sacrifice to a phantom spirit that, ironically, seems to feed on their own weakness. But then, into this gloomy scene, a new character walks in, Zarathustra. And he doesn't come to argue or debate their philosophy. He just laughs. He laughs at what he calls their pale trembling. Picture this. From a ridge way up high, Zarathustra is looking down on these despisers, and he's about to reveal a much greater mystery. Something they've completely overlooked because they're so fixated on their shame and this idea of a separate spirit. And right here, this is the heart of the whole conflict. On one side, the despisers see their I as a trapped ghost. But on the other side, Zarathustra sees a powerful, ruling self. And get this self isn't some abstract idea. It is the body. He says the mind, the spirit, those are just tools that the body uses, not the other way around. I mean, that is a huge shift in how we think about things. The conscious mind, that reason that the despisers worship, is nothing more than a toy. It's a plaything for a much bigger, much older intelligence, what Zarathustra calls the great reason of the flesh. So naturally, this brings up a really fascinating question. What exactly is this all-powerful self that Zarathustra is talking about? Who is this mighty lord that's hiding behind all our thoughts and feelings? Zarathustra basically tells us to listen past all the chatter in our heads. He cries out, "Behind thy thoughts and feelings, my brother, there stands a mighty lord." So the self isn't some ghost or a philosophical idea. It's the living, breathing, physical reality of you. It's your body, with all of its incredible, built-in wisdom. And this great reason? It's like a symphony of intelligence. It's the harmony of all your senses working together. It's that ancient wisdom you feel in your gut. It's the lightning-fast signals in your nerves. This is a kind of deep intelligence, way older and wiser than your conscious thoughts. It's that knowing you feel deep in your bones, something your little mind can only ever be a servant to. And this is such a powerful idea. Your conscious mind says, "I think," or "I feel." But the body, the self, it doesn't need words. It just acts, I. It's your identity in pure motion. Zarathustra goes even further. He argues that even our deepest spiritual desires are really just born from the body's basic needs. For example, the body's primal drive for power gets translated by the spirit into a noble quest for truth. The body's simple need for rest, that becomes the spirit's dream of heavens. From this perspective, the spirit is just a beautiful, complex tool created by the flesh.
Okay, but this brings up a really important question. If the body is this all-powerful ruler, why do the despisers hate it so much? What's the real source of all that anger they have for the very ground they walk on?
Zarathustra uses this brilliant metaphor to expose what's really going on. He's saying their whole philosophy isn't born from wisdom, it's born from failure. They can't create harmony with their own bodies, so instead of blaming their own lack of skill, they curse the instrument itself. So in the end, their hatred for the body isn't really because the body is flawed. They despise it because it's a constant reminder of their own weakness, of their failure to live fully in this vibrant, demanding world. What they call virtue is really just a bitter revenge against the very senses they can't control. But Zarathustra reveals an even deeper and kinda tragic irony here.
As he's watching the despisers basically crawl towards their graves, clinging to their beliefs, he sees that they're secretly performing a service for the very thing they claim to hate.
And here's the ultimate paradox. Their very act of despising the body is actually a creative act of the body. It's their self in a last-ditch effort to find some meaning in its own decay that has created this whole philosophy of contempt. So even when they're rejecting life, they're still using the body's creative power to do it.
Zarathustra gives them a name, the unbecoming ones. They aren't moving beyond the body to something greater. They're actually failing to become what their bodies are capable of being. Their entire philosophy is just a giant no to the dance of life, and it's a refusal that comes from being afraid of their own potential.
And with that, we move past these monks of the fleshless void, and we arrive at Zarathustra's final, powerful conclusion. He offers a whole new way of looking at things, the gospel of the bone.
This is Zarathustra's gospel. It's basically a hymn to our physical existence. He's telling us to celebrate the strength in our muscles, to trust the simple truth our skin tells us. He declares that to despise the body is to lie with the very breath that keeps you alive. It's a radical, full-throated embrace of our physical self as the entire meaning of our time here on Earth.
So, what's the big takeaway here? It's that the spirit isn't the enemy of the body, it's its most magnificent creation. You know, this isn't just some old philosophical poetry. It's an idea you can see echoed in modern things like mindfulness or somatic therapy, which teach us that wellness comes from living in our bodies more fully, not escaping them. The spirit is that beautiful, complex blossom that can only grow from the strong, healthy roots of the physical self.
And so, Zarathustra's parable ends by turning this ancient philosophy into a deeply personal challenge for every one of us. Your body, yourself, is speaking to you all the time through 1,000 different senses. The only real question left is, are you listening to its wisdom?